By the end of this video, you're going to know how to use fonts like a professional would. I'm going to show you how to curve text, add multiple colors within your fonts, how to add font outlines, how to professionally align your fonts, and overall typography best practices. So let's get started. So the first thing I like to do is choose a category. There are 4 major categories when designing a font, a logo, or design, and that's serif, sans serif, script, and decorative. Serif is like your Wells Fargo traditional old school stuff. That's really good when you have elegant things or you're really trying to go back in time and use that old school font. Clean fonts like sans serif, Target uses them, and a lot of other companies use this to be like more of a newer, cleaner font. And then there's script that has a little character. It's like Coca-Cola uses script fonts, or decorative like Sega. So first I like to choose which font am I going to use, and then I kind of design around that font. So kind of keep that in mind when going over the fonts. So I'm going to go over some of the stuff that I've done here and why I did what I did and how to choose your proper fonts. So for example, this one right here, I chose this font because it kind of blends in with the same lines as the background. So whatever lines I'm using, I like to blend it in with that, meaning the thickness and the roundness of these lines blend in with this right here. So what if we change this to, I don't know, something else like handwriting or something? It's not going to look as good because it's really not blending in as well. So that's not looking as professional. It looks okay, but it really needs to blend in with the same lines as it. All of these fonts are great, but blending it into your icons and to what's happening here is the same thing here. So see these lines right here, these thin lines? I wanted that thin line to kind of get represented there on the bottom. And then this headline is kind of represented with a thick line. So you notice how that blends in just like that. The next thing I wanted to go over with you is your taglines. A lot of people get this wrong and it looks really bad. So you want to make sure your taglines look good against the headline. So for example, if I change this right here to a bolder tagline, it doesn't look as good. It's almost like it's competing with this right here. Even though they share the same font family, which you typically want to do, you don't want to compete with that right there. So what I did is I made it thinner and it looks nice and elegant so it doesn't compete. Typically I like to make it the same font family unless it's like a script like this. So you don't want a script and then a script, and that would be not good because it competes. So for example, if I went here and I added a handwriting script just like that, it's okay, but I feel like it's competing and it's just not elegant enough. So I'm looking for that cleanness and that seriousness. This has that character, and then this is that serious part of this. So that's why I chose these two. Another thing you want to look at is letter spacing. So you want to make sure you space out your letters. This is not spaced out right. I'm going to go ahead and space it out just a little bit more, just by going over to my styles and spacing it out here. And there you go. That looks a lot better. So spacing out some of the taglines is what a lot of professionals do as well. And always remember to align your fonts. If it's over to the right, you want to make sure it aligns. In Logo Maker, they have a thing where it automatically has like a magnet and it automatically clicks and aligns it right there. You could also highlight this, go to the styles, and align this horizontally as well. Make sure everything is all centered and aligned. And then I put my background on there just to make it look good. All right, so the next thing I want to go over is how to curve your text just like this. So let's go ahead and go to logomaker.com, Logomakr, and I'm going to go over to this right here, this curve text tool here. Click on that. It's going to give me something that's already curved. I'm just going to type in what I typed in before, Michael Wilson, just like that. And I'm going to take this and change its color there. And then, of course, go ahead and just find the font that you feel looks the best. For me right now, I don't want it to compete with this, so I'm going to use a thin font just like that. and I'm going to make it smaller. And you could go into this styles area and you could change the font size just like this, and the font spacing just like this, the letter spacing, and or the word spacing just like that. And you want it to get just right so it curves around like a circle. So if I wanted to add a circle, I could do so. I could just click on this, hold, click and hold there, and I'm just going to put an outline on this. There you go. And I'm going to take the fill and I'm going to add opacity to it just so it has an outline to this. Maybe the outline shouldn't be that thick. It's thinner, just like this, to match this. But that's basically it. That's how to add a curved text, and you could just play with it. If you want to add a bottom one, that's simple enough. I'm just going to duplicate this right here by right-clicking, duplicate. And then I'm going to go to the styles again, and I'm going to flip this around just like that. Now I'm going to flip it this way. There you go. And bingo. I have now the bottom text, but I don't like it. It's looking really weird. I'm going to put it in the middle, and I'm going to kind of adjust the letter spacing and the word spacing and so on and so forth. Maybe I want to adjust this a little bit. So you can kind of just play with it just to get it right, because what you want to do is you want to get the same curvature under it as you do over it and around the circle. So you could just kind of play with the spacing, the height, the width, and all that stuff just to get it around that circle. And last but definitely not least is coloring. I like to color my stuff to match things. So like I like to match maybe my icons with this. So the way I do that in Logo Maker is you could just click on that and you could go into the color wheel and you could change the colors there. Or you could go into a linear or radial. Linear is from one end to another end, and you could change the angle on that linear if you wanted to. And radial is from inside out. And you could change these colors, delete these colors, whatever you want. If you want to delete them, you just click on it and press the delete button. Or if you want to change it, just click on it and you could change those colors right there as well. I'm going to keep this white because that's starting to look weird. But that's how you add multiple colors if you wanted to your any of the elements here in Logo Maker. And you could also add an outline if you wanted to. You could go to the outline and you could go, I'm going to use a solid outline for this one. And you could have an outline if you wanted to, just like that. I probably wouldn't do that, but sometimes outlines do look great. Alright, so I hope this video helps you get an idea of what designers do and what to look for when designing your design or graphic and using the right fonts and pairing it with your graphics.